The richest parents made my sister and me toughen up by hardship. Every month they gave us only 200 yuan for living expenses. Later my sister was diagnosed with bone cancer and was at death's door. Desperate, I had no choice but to borrow money from our parents, only to be pointed at and shouted at, such a young age and already lying. Pretending to have cancer just for money. Cancer, huh? The day she really dies, I'll burn Joss paper for her. With no other option, I had to go work as a hostess to make quick money, being forced to drink until my stomach bled every day, only then managing to earn the money for my sister's surgery. But when I tried to tell my sister the good news, Mom and Dad took all of her life-saving money and tossed it to a beggar by the roadside. You forced Chloe to give you this money, right? You're just taking advantage of her kindness. I'm telling you, I'll throw this money away before I give it to you. As a result, my sister, having missed her treatment, died in despair. While I was sorting through her things, I found a post from our adopted sister. Birthday deposit, 99,990,000. Mom and Dad say I'm their forever little princess. I smiled and left a comment under my foster sister's Moments post. How wonderful, congratulations, you'll be the only little princess in the family from now on. After I buried my sister, I hurriedly rode my bicycle back to school. No sooner had I parked than I was met with a heavy slap across my face. Who allowed you to leave comments on Chloe's post? Don't you know that because of your lies, Chloe is now crying and wants to go back to the orphanage? How can you be so heartless? My face burned where he'd struck me. I looked at my father who had hit me, and the ache in my heart was even clearer. I forced a smile at the corner of my mouth. Really? Then let her go. Chloe was like that every time. Whenever she was unhappy, she'd cry and say she wanted to go back to the orphanage. But each time, Mom and Dad would give in, hold her tenderly, and tell her, you don't have to go back to the orphanage. You're our little princess. My dad panted angrily at what I said, while my mom pretended to be the good one. With a face full of helplessness she told me, Stella, how can you talk like that? Chloe has had a rough life and suffered so much since she was little. What's wrong with Dad and I loving her a bit more? All this money is just stuff outside of us. We're just trying to give her a little more security. Why are you so jealous about it? Your comments have made Chloe sad and guilty. She's been thinking she stole your and Luna's place. Chloe suffered? I snorted. She was brought into our home when she was 5, and my parents were terrified of upsetting her. Everything she ate and used was the best. By contrast, my sister and I were raised to be self-reliant. From the time we were 8 we were expected to prepare our own meals. My sister and I were so often scalded that our hands were full of blisters. But Chloe, if she said she wanted something delicious, my parents would bring a 5-star restaurant into the house and feed her themselves. Even now, they threw away all the life-saving money I had earned for my sister to the beggars on the street, then turned around and wired Chloe nearly 100 million. I really want to ask them, who is their biological daughter, after all? Seeing the ridicule on my face, my father grew angry again and slapped me across the face. What kind of expression is that? Do you think we were wrong? Take out your phone. Call Chloe right now and apologize. After he finished speaking, ignoring all the people gathered at the school gate, he lunged to grab my phone. The sorrow that had weighed on me since my sister's death flooded over me like a tidal wave. I don't know where I found the strength, but I yanked my hand free from his grip in one fierce motion. Get out. I will never apologize. If Chloe is your little princess, go to her. You are utterly unfit to be my parents. After saying that, before they had time to react, I rushed into the school. I returned to the dormitory in tears. My roommates were talking. Did you see Chloe's update? 99.99 million. I wouldn't even dare to dream of that. As expected of the first family's daughter, transferring tens of millions like it's nothing. I heard the richest family also donated 100 million in Chloe's name to those bone cancer patients. Rich and so kind. I sat at my desk, my fingers rubbing the photo of my sister. Hearing my roommates, my chest tightened, tears fell uncontrollably onto my sister's photo. My parents not only refused to give us any living allowance, they even told us to find our own way to pay tuition. To support my education, my sister gave up the chance to go to university. Handing out flyers, washing dishes, working as a waitress, my sister was willing to do anything. But the sister who loved me so much ended up developing cancer. Our parents refused to believe that my older sister was truly ill. Instead, they went to help others to accrue merit for the adopted daughter. Clearly, my sister only needed one surgery to live several more good years. I opened the news. The headlines were plastered with praise for the richest family's charitable deeds. Many netizens commented under the posts praising Chloe. "Mr. Richard is mighty, Miss Chloe is mighty. On behalf of all bone cancer patients, thank you for your family's help. Fantastic, this is how rich families behave. I heard it's because it's the richest heiress's birthday, let's also wish Princess Chloe a happy birthday." All the comments under this post were birthday wishes for Chloe. My dad even posted a video in response. "Thank you everyone for wishing our little princess a happy birthday." The little princess saw the comments, "She's very happy." Under the video, all you could hear were voices of envy from netizens. I watched my father like that, tears blurring my vision. I wonder, when did our family become like this? Clearly, Mom and Dad used to love us very much. But ever since Chloe came into our home, everything changed. The father who used to lift my sister and me high with a smile has become someone who speaks to us with bitter words. The once gentle mother had become a woman whose mouth said only one thing, "Princess Chloe." Just because Chloe fell down, they could pin every fault on my sister and me. Just because it was Chloe's birthday, they could spend millions to help strangers they didn't even know. And I, in order to earn money for my sister's medical bills, had no choice but to work nights, keeping company and pouring drinks. Those greasy men groped me and forced me to drink until my stomach bled. My sister held me and cried, saying she was beyond help. I could only comfort her, "It's okay, I'll earn enough money soon, sister, we'll still live to 100 years. But my sister did not live to 100. All of it, every bit of it, was because we had a pair of irresponsible parents. I clenched my fist and let out a bitter laugh. I don't want parents like these. I wanted to go back and retrieve my sister's things. But when I reached the house, I sadly discovered I couldn't get in. Rain pelted outside and the cold wind bit through to the bone. A metallic sweet surge rose in my stomach, I forced myself to swallow it down. Chloe's triumphant voice came through the video doorbell. "Sis, it's not that I won't let you in. Mom and Dad said if you want to come in, you have to apologize to me first." "Sorry, okay, sis, you know, when Mom and Dad are angry even I can't stop them." Listen to that. How ridiculous. I have to apologize to her to enter my own home. But there was still a photo in my sister's room that she treasured most, I had to get it back. I clenched my fist and, humiliated, said, "I'm sorry." Chloe, however, seemed not to hear. "Sister, what did you say? Say it louder." Rage threatened to drown my whole chest, I knew she was doing it on purpose. But I had no choice. So I hurled all the hatred in my chest and snapped, "Fine. Can you open the door now?" The door opened, and on the other side Chloe wore that smug look. "Sister, it's not that I absolutely demand an apology. It's just that Mom and Dad don't want me to be hurt. You can understand that, right?" Again with that. Chloe, as always, loved to flaunt the privilege of being favored in front of me and our sister. Once, I might have been hurt by this. Now, I simply didn't care. I ignored her and started to go upstairs. But Chloe, perhaps unwilling to accept that I hadn't shown any sorrow, actually slapped herself across the face and then flopped down on the floor. "Sister, why did you hit me? I even opened the door for you. I know you don't like me, but Mom and Dad are both home today. If you hit me you're making them lose face, they'll be hurt. I don't want Mom and Dad to be sad. If you really can't tolerate me, I'll just go back to the orphanage." I stood at the top of the stairs and quietly watched her performance. Sure enough, after she finished crying, my parents appeared. When my dad saw the slap mark on Chloe's face, he didn't say a word, he slapped me. Stella, who gave you permission to lay a hand on someone? Your sister is a worthless piece, she can't even teach her own younger sister properly. I can endure my father's hitting me, even his insults. But I cannot endure him insulting my sister. I yelled at him, Sister? Sister is dead. She will never come back, are you satisfied now? Now my mother hit me. This slap, she put everything into it, how rude. Where is your sister? Call her out, I want to ask her properly how she taught her little sister. I covered my swollen face and did not miss the look of triumph on Chloe's face. She stood up, feigning hurt, maybe Sister Luna was mad at me and that's why she didn't want to come home. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, it's all my fault. When she said that, my parents hurriedly wrapped their arms around her to comfort her. Don't cry, Chloe is our little princess. A little princess can do no wrong. If there's any fault, it's theirs. I sneered as I watched the three of them in their cozy tableau. This scene, my sister hoped for it until the day she died. Her gaunt hand clutched mine tightly, her eyes vacant as they stared at the ceiling, her voice reduced to a whisper, Stella, why haven't Mom and Dad come to see me yet? I clamped my hand over my mouth, afraid to cry out loud, how could I even tell her? The parents she had longed for were now with the adopted daughter, the three of them happily together? In the end, Sister never received the family love she had hoped for. She left with pain and regret. I couldn't bear to see that sickening scene any longer. I just wanted to grab my sister's things and get out of that suffocating house as fast as I could. I searched my sister's drawer for a long time but couldn't find that photo. At that moment, laughter and playful noises came from the pool downstairs. I looked down and saw Chloe holding a photo, laughing and joking. A sense of foreboding rose in my chest. I hurried downstairs. Look at this, a torn photo treated like a treasure, kept in a drawer, it's hilarious. Chloe laughed, and the moment she saw me she tossed the photo in her hand into the pool. No. That was my sister's most precious thing. Without thinking I jumped in. But I couldn't swim. I clutched the photo with all my strength, my hands and feet flailing uncontrollably in the water. Hell, me. No one saved me. Chloe and her sisters stood at the edge of the pool pointing and laughing at me, saying I looked like a dog. My parents rushed over, but the first thing they asked was whether Chloe was all right. Chloe cried, Mom, Dad, I was just curious when I saw that photo, but my sister got angry and tried to push me into the water. What should I do? Hurry and save her, she looks like she's in so much pain. My father sneered, Pain? That vicious person. I think she's just pretending, don't bother with her. Let her drown. My mother hurried to throw a towel around Chloe, good girl, don't catch a chill. More and more water flooded into my mouth, I felt as if my entire lungs were about to explode. I wanted to explain that I hadn't meant to push her, but the moment I opened my mouth, even more water poured into my lungs. It wasn't until someone noticed something was wrong that my father told the servant to pull me out. By that time, however, I had already passed out. When I woke, the first thing I saw was a sheet of white. The hospital, I knew it all too well. It was here that my sister had stopped breathing. I still clutched the photograph my sister had treasured tightly in my hand. It was a family portrait of my sister and me at 5 years old, taken with Mom and Dad. Sister, she always said we could be happy like before. But could that really be true? I struggled to sit up, and from the nurse's mouth I learned that when I was brought in, there wasn't a single person by my side. I forced a smile. I borrowed a few $100 from a close friend to pay the fees, and I staggered out. The doctor told me to be hospitalized. But how could I afford to stay? Just as I stepped out of the hospital door, a trash bag came flying straight at me. I didn't know what heavy thing was inside the bag, it hit my head and made me dizzy, and I fell straight to the ground. The one who hit me was Chloe's little lackey. She bared her teeth and ran up, straddled me and started hitting me. Stella, you bitch, don't you know you scared Chloe to death? If you wanted to die, couldn't you have gone somewhere farther? I'm telling you, go back and kneel to her and apologize right now, or I'll beat you to death. My head was ringing from the blows. I grabbed her hand. It's not my fault. She slapped me hard again. Not your fault? You scared Chloe, so you're wrong. You dare pick on the daughter of the richest man, are you out of your mind? I was beaten until I coughed up blood. I had already been feeling unwell, and now I was even more weak. I'm their daughter. Chloe's little follower heard this and laughed loudly. Stella, don't think you can pretend to be the daughter of the richest family. Besides, if you really were their daughter, would they just stand by and watch you drown without saving you? I think you deserve this beating. After saying that, she hit me. My mouth kept filling with more and more blood. There wasn't a single person nearby to help me. Just as I thought I was about to be beaten to death, I heard my parents' voices. The pain in my body made me instinctively pin my hopes on them. I croaked out, Dad. In my heart, I still wished to be loved by my parents. I looked at them with eyes full of longing. Even if they were only willing to say one word in my defense, I wouldn't hate them very much. But the moment I uttered the first word, my father yanked me up off the floor. You slut. If it weren't for you, Chloe wouldn't be sick in the hospital. And now you're standing here pretending. Do you think I'll forgive you because of that? You get up and go to the hospital to apologize to her right now. I froze, staring dumbly as his mouth opened and closed. My mother frowned at me, her eyes full of discontent. I never expected to give birth to a daughter like you, sigh. What a disgrace to the family. Hearing my mother admit in her own words that I was her daughter, Chloe's little sidekick froze for a moment. But she quickly realized I was completely unloved at home. So she ran up to my parents and, as if claiming credit, said, Uncle, Auntie, you were right, it was Stella who told me to come and put on a show for you. She said if I didn't go along with her, she would bully Chloe. After the sidekick finished speaking, my father was furious. My mouth filled with blood as my father delivered a slap straight at me. I couldn't stand anymore and crashed heavily to the ground. The little lackey took the chance to kick me. Uncle, I'll teach her a lesson right away. My father snorted coldly, taking it as consent. My mother nodded. Fine, she deserves a lesson. At a time like this, I actually wanted to laugh. The little lackey kept kicking my stomach again and again. A stabbing pain hit me, and I couldn't stop myself from spitting a mouthful of blood. The spurt of blood made everyone jump. Someone shouted, someone's dying. Only then did Mom and Dad panic. Don't kick, don't kick. With those words, my consciousness sank into a heavy darkness. In a daze, I said to them, I hate you. When I woke up, I was back in the hospital room again. My mother held my hand, her face full of reproach. Stella, how could you not say anything after being beaten like this? If your father hadn't realized something was wrong, you could have been beaten to death. Hearing that, I let out a cold laugh and pulled my hand away from my mother's grip with all my strength. What would saying something even change? You always only believe what others say. Would it do any good if I spoke up? Mr. Richard, Mrs. Eleanor, what are you both pretending to be here, the kind, loving parents? My father had a violent temper. When he heard my words his face immediately darkened. Stella, I think you're becoming more and more ill-mannered. Where's your sister? Call her over, I want to see how she raised her younger sibling. I laughed, tears welling up and spilling over. Sister? You have the nerve to mention sister? I'll tell you, she's dead. You killed her. What I said made my parents exchange a look. My father moved as if to strike me, but I glared at him fiercely. In the end he put his hand away. Stella, I'm giving you one last chance. Hurry up and call your sister. Fine, go meet her in the cemetery. I shouted, my voice growing hoarse from the yelling. My father pointed at me, his face ashen. As the tension thickened, a woman rushed in and dropped to her knees right in front of my parents. Mr. Richard, Mrs. Eleanor, it's really you. You may not know me, but because of your donation my child now has a chance to live. You are our family's great benefactors." My father understood, and gently helped the woman to her feet. "You are too kind. I am only accumulating merit for my precious daughter. It is our honor to be able to help you." The three of them began to exchange pleasantries like that right in front of me. The doctors and nurses present praised my father again and again. At a time like that, I snorted coldly. "Yeah, he won't save his own daughter but goes to save someone else's child. Mr. Richard is such a great man." My father's face went ashen, and the woman suddenly uttered an "Oh. Is it you, little girl? Have your sister's funeral arrangements all been taken care of? Ah, what a pity. If only we'd waited for Mr. Richard's donation, your sister could still have been saved." The woman wore an expression of regret. I only just realized now that the woman was the family member who'd been in the bed next to my sister when she was hospitalized. Her child got my parents' help, but my sister was literally robbed by my parents of any chance to survive. My parents seemed to finally notice that something was wrong. He asked the woman, "What did you say? Who died?" The woman, not understanding, still pointed at me and said, "It's this girl's sister. Those two sisters are pitiful. One drank so much while trying to earn money that she got a bleeding stomach, and the other in the end still passed away." Sigh. I really don't know who their parents are to be so irresponsible. When the woman finished speaking, my parents' faces had already gone deathly pale. Mom covered her mouth in disbelief, and in an instant tears gushed out. Looking at their expressions, something like relief stirred inside me. I finally scraped together the money for my sister's operation. "And you, what did you do? You said I stole it from Chloe and threw all the money to beggars. You helped others with surgeries, but you abandoned your own biological daughter. You're not human. You don't deserve to be parents. Sister is dead because of you. You're all murderers." I screamed hoarsely. Father swayed, murmuring, "No. Chloe said you stole all that money from her?" So I. He looked up suddenly and fixed his gaze on Chloe, who happened to be pushing the door open. "Chloe, tell me, was the money from Stella really them scamming you?" Chloe was startled by the sudden outburst, but forced herself to stay calm and said, "Yes, Dad. Back then Sister Stella messaged me saying they didn't have money to pay tuition, so I sent them the money." "You're lying. I never sent you a message," I shouted at her, pointing. Chloe, frightened, hid behind Mom and Dad, clutching her chest weakly and saying, "Daddy, Sister is so scary, she frightened me." My mother hesitated, shielding Chloe. "Stella, this might be a misunderstanding. Chloe wouldn't do something like this." Chloe hid behind my mother and flashed me a triumphant smile. At this moment, not even a ripple stirred in me. Hadn't I long suspected it would be like this? To them, Chloe was the best. My sister and I were their worst daughters. I closed my eyes, not wanting to look at them again. But at that moment, Chloe's phone suddenly rang. Perhaps from overconfidence, she accidentally hit the speaker. Her little sidekick's smug voice came through. "Chloe, I totally taught Stella a lesson, she's been humiliated so badly, ha 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 ha. I had her under me like a dog. Don't worry, I'll do exactly as you said, every time I see her from now on, I'll hit her. And that time too, I never expected your parents to trust you so blindly. I only told them you were being scammed out of money, and they really took all of Stella's money away. I even had a hand in getting Stella drunk until she coughed up blood. I warned the nightclub staff in advance, if she ever went to entertain again, they'd spike her drink." The brazen, audacious voice echoed through the entire ward. Chloe panicked and tried to hang up, but was so nervous she dropped her phone on the floor. She went pale and tried to pick up the phone, but was so frightened by her father's angry shout that she didn't dare move. "Dad, I didn't know any of that, I didn't lie to you." My father looked at Chloe, his face full of disappointment. "Since I brought you home from the orphanage, haven't we treated you well?" Chloe lowered her head, tears welling up. "Yes. Dad, I." My father slapped Chloe hard across the face. "If that's the case, then why did you lie to me? Why did you kill my daughter? In all the years Chloe had lived with us, it was the first time my father had ever hit her. She cast a pleading look at my mother, sank to her knees and clung to my mother's legs. "Mom, please tell Dad, I didn't lie to you." "Boo-hoo, it hurts so much, Mom." But my mother was already sobbing uncontrollably. She watched Chloe shake her head slowly, then took a few steps back to pull away. "I never imagined that the little princess I've cherished and raised for so many years could actually be a monster. Luna. Richard, it's us who failed her." My father's eyes were bloodshot, he was clearly heartbroken. Watching this dramatic scene, all I could do was laugh. What's the use of regret now? My sister was already dead. The familial affection she had longed for had, in the end, come far too late. After I recovered from my injuries in the hospital, I returned to school. That day, my parents came to see me. Their eyes were red and their faces worn out. Even my father, who always cared about his appearance, had an unshaven face. "Stella, Dad, and Mom know they were wrong. We really didn't know that money was Luna's life-saving fund. We haven't slept well for days. Can I go see your sister?" The first time I saw a fragile side of Mom and Dad was then. The thought that my sister, even on her deathbed, was still hoping Mom and Dad would come to see her made me soften for a moment. Just as I was about to agree, I saw the car door open. Chloe got out of the car. With red-rimmed eyes she apologized to me. "Sister, I'm sorry. They were the ones who egged me on. If I'd known that was your life-saving money I would never have done it. Mom and Dad have already forgiven me. You can forgive me too, right?" Chloe apologized pitifully, but I could see the contempt in her eyes. My parents also spoke up for her. "Stella, Chloe knows she was wrong, and we've punished her. She lost her parents when she was little, she's pitiable. We don't have another daughter left, your father and I can't lose you too." In that moment, my sorrow outweighed even the death of my heart. I couldn't understand how, knowing their daughter had been murdered, they could so easily forgive. I yelled at them, "Forgive? Who's supposed to forgive? Sister? Sorry, I can't make decisions for her. If you want forgiveness, go ask her in hell yourselves. Ask her whether she wants to forgive you. And I will never tell you where her grave is. You can rot away with your guilt for the rest of your lives." Mother lost control, covering her face and sobbing. "Stella, Mom really knows she was wrong. Please, just tell me where Luna's grave is." She grabbed my hand and begged me. I looked coldly at those hands, mustered all my strength and shook her off, saying, "No, I can't." Chloe was still playing the victim at this moment. "Sister, Mom and Dad are already so heartbroken, why can't you just forgive us?" I closed in on her, longing to tear her limb from limb. "Fine, just kneel and beg me, and I'll think about it, alright?" Chloe instinctively shouted, "In your dreams." When she realized her parents were still there, she dabbed at tears that weren't really flowing and said, "Sister, if you truly hate me that much, I'll leave this house right now." "Fine," I said with a smile. I looked at my parents. "As long as you drive Chloe out, I'll tell you where Sister's grave is." A flicker of hesitation crossed my parents' eyes. They tried to persuade me. I cut them off. "You don't need to say anything. As long as Chloe stays in this house, I won't tell you where your daughter is. Isn't Mr. Richard a respectable man? If people found out that the wealthiest man doesn't even know where his own daughter is buried, it would be a laughingstock." I finished speaking and turned to leave. Naturally, I didn't notice the malice in Chloe's eyes. In the days that followed, my parents still came to the school to find me. Or they'd send me a pile of messages. I ignored them all. But every time they sent their messages, Chloe would immediately follow up with a photo of the three of them eating together or out shopping. I smiled, then blocked all three of them. On Monday, the day of class, the moment I walked out the door I noticed many people at school were looking at me in a strange way. My roommates even walked together in a group, keeping far away from me. Puzzled, I went to the classroom and opened my phone, only to find the campus forum plastered with my photos everywhere. There was even a bold headline, "Female college student willingly sinks into depravity, spends late nights drinking and cuddling with men. In the picture, I'm dressed scantily, letting different men stare at my shoulders as they drink. Below are all comments berating me. This person I know, she's from our dormitory, usually, TSK. I thought she seemed pretty well behaved, didn't expect such a contrast. I heard those girls who wait tables at the nightclubs, if the price is right you can take them out and have them open. Stella, how much to sleep with you for one night? In the comments section, it was either insults or humiliation. My fingers went white around the phone. I watched the people around me point and whisper. For a moment I knew who it had to be. Besides Chloe, I couldn't imagine anyone else who would bear me such malice. I took a deep breath and forced myself to calm down. Then I created a secondary account and left a comment below. Stella seems to be the daughter of the richest man, that's how richest daughters behave, huh? Before long, my comment was upvoted and pushed to the top. In less than half an hour, someone had dug up my background. The heiress of the richest man actually has to work to make money. What the rumor has it Stella has another sister named Luna, but the richest man only dotes on the adopted daughter and completely ignores the two biological sisters. And I heard Stella only went to hostess bars because her sister was sick, and since the richest man wouldn't give them money, Stella had to make quick cash by entertaining. My God, they must be so pitiful. I'm sorry, I apologize for what I just said. The comments quickly reversed. Soon someone dug up some information about Chloe. She went to a club to pick male models, sat on the laps of a group of men. She bullied girls at their school. A stream of negative reports followed, starkly at odds with her usual good girl image. Someone even exposed that Luna had been killed by her own parents together with Chloe. I don't know who leaked that information. Maybe it was the doctor who was there that day, maybe it was that aunt. But the shares of the Nye Group were affected because of it. Countless reporters swarmed to my parents' company's building, demanding they give an explanation. Facing the camera, my father, who was always articulate, found himself unable to speak. My mother wept uncontrollably in front of the lens. Everything was already self-evident. My father bowed to the camera and apologized, "It's our fault. I'm sorry, my daughter. I am willing to accept everyone's criticism." For a time, Nye Corporation's shares plummeted. My family instantly lost tens of billions. On Saturday my mother asked me to meet her. I went. She looked much older, her eyes swollen, you could tell she'd been crying a lot. "Stella, I've already taken Chloe back to the orphanage. Your father and I have told others she is no longer our daughter. Come back home, please? Your father and I know we were wrong. Only now do we understand how much you and Luna have suffered. I'm sorry. From now on, you'll be Mommy's only little princess." Little princess? I couldn't help but laugh. I was about to answer her when someone suddenly burst through the doorway. Her hair was disheveled, and she charged at me brandishing a knife. "Stella, I'm going to kill you." The blade was about to reach my face when, at the last moment, someone stepped in front of me. The sound of the blade entering flesh came, and my mother collapsed in front of me. Her face was pale, her clothes already soaked with blood. "Stella, now Mama can finally protect you." Chloe had been restrained by the people in the restaurant. She kept shouting, "It's all your fault, all your fault. I'm the heiress to the richest family, go die, you go die." Someone called the police. The scene was utter chaos. I took my mother to the hospital and called my father. After he arrived, I prepared to leave. My father, eyes red, asked me, "Stella, won't you at least look at your mother?" I shook my head. "Mr. Richard, please, on my behalf, thank Mrs. Eleanor, but for the years of suffering my sister and I endured, I cannot forgive you." After speaking, I turned and walked away. My mother ultimately had no life-threatening injuries thanks to timely resuscitation. Chloe was convicted of intentional homicide and sentenced to 20 years in prison. As for my father, after my mother recovered, he devoted himself to donations for bone cancer research. They seemed to be using this to make up for their guilt over sister. But what difference does that make? After so long, I had slowly learned to live without her. I was also slowly coming to terms with a future without our parents. For more than 10 years they neglected sister and me. I wouldn't need them in the life ahead of me either. On my sister's birthday I bought a small cake and went to see her. I lit the candle and smiled at her, "Happy birthday, sis." When she was still around, she never allowed herself to spend money. She would always say, "Sister's money must be saved so Stella can go to school." But clearly, she loved sweets so much. Tears fell into the cake, and the sister in the photograph was still smiling just as gently. "Sister, I've grown up. Are you happy?" "I will grow up. I, too, will one day grow up."